Hi, everybody. It's Craig and IC. We're back with your AFC NFL picks, over/under win total picks for 2025-2026 season. We are going to be covering a ton of stuff going forward. In fact, we're going to cover every football game every week, both college football and the NFL. And it's going to be all here on our YouTube channel. So make sure you like and subscribe and you don't miss out on any of that stuff. Of course, if you want in on our best plays, you go over to DocSports.com and you get in the early bird passes for football, $7.49 per capper, so you can get both of us for $1,500, and you'll get every play for both college football and the NFL. I know some sites sell them individually, some sites sell them, you got to buy the regular season, and then you get this is all the way through the Super Bowl for $7.49, and this goes up to $9.50 come week one of the NFL. So make sure you get on it now. You get any preseason picks we give out in the meantime, and also we're going to have some future picks. We're going to give all these out, but we're not going to be rating these as far as units. I know I'm going to be. I'm sure IC you might have maybe some future plays that you actually put the units beside, so you know how strongly we like them. Like if there's one or two out there that we're going to actually put money on ourselves, that's what you get over at DocSports.com under our NFL and college or all football pass. So make sure you check that out. $7.49 per capper. Of course, in addition, you can get in tons of extra stuff here at YouTube Premium. Or level 1, level 2, level 3. So we got level 1. We give out early access to all of our videos. Plus, you get a Detroit Lenny every day. That's $4.99 a month. $19.99 you get level 1. Plus, level 2 is IC's picks. He gets some extra picks every day. And then level 3, you get all 3, including 3 expert picks from some of our Doc Sports experts every day. So great values. Make sure you click the link if you want to get in on any of those premium, YouTube premium packages. Okay, I see. Let's set it up. I'm going to set you up and we'll go back and forth. We're going to, like I said, we're going to do every team in the AFC, and we're going to do an alphabetical order, not how we like them, FYI. So we're going to be starting with the Baltimore Ravens. Nice year last year, of course, 12-5. I was a little shocked that we saw this total still at 11.5 on a very tough division. What do you think here with the Baltimore Ravens for this season?
Yeah, I don't want to try to be a homer, but I like the over, right? They had 12 wins last year and 11-5. You know, this total comes out as sort of 11.5 here. The first 3 games are the hardest for them, right? They have the Bills, they have the Lions, they have the Chiefs. It gets a little hard. But after that, it gets a little bit easier for them. Lamar is 28 years old. His window is closing, obviously. And I think Baltimore, you know, with his window closing and with the harder games being up front, I think they'll lose a few and then they'll chase. And, of course, there's only one bye, right, in the playoffs. And I think they're going to be super motivated. I think they're going to try to get that bye. And, I like the over here. It seems kind of obvious, maybe. But then again, you know, it's hard for a team to win in the NFL 12 games. It's just hard. A lot of things. I mean, we're one Lamar injury away from this not happening. But having said that, he's been an extremely durable player. I don't think any one of us would have ever imagined when he came out of Louisville that it'll turn out to be this kind of player. Yep. And he was not the Johnny Manziel, which people thought. He turned into Lamar Jackson, an MVP, and Johnny busted, but they were the same type of player. But the thing was, you can't measure character, man. Really, and if the NFL ever figured out how to measure character, that's the $1 million question. And he has really passed that character test. So I like the over there. So moving on here. After that, you know, we obviously, if you're going to talk about the Baltimore Ravens, the next one you got to talk about is the Buffalo Bills, right? This is a Buffalo Bills team that this, you know, total sits at 11.5 actually. And, Buffalo, had a very good year last year, 13-4, had a disappointing end, obviously. But for a team that's 13-4 and a total of 11.5, what do you like?
Winnable division. That's big key. You know, to me, it's not always, you're not always just playing, who's the best team when you're playing the over-under win totals. It's who you're playing in, both in your division, because you get to play them twice, of course, and who's, do you have a hard schedule or not? They do have a harder schedule outside the conference, but I think it's possible they sweep go 8-0 in their division this year. I don't have a whole lot of faith in the Dolphins. I think the Patriots are a little better. I don't have faith in the Jets. So it's like, I think this team is, I say 8-0, 6-0. But either way, I think they go over again. I wanted to try to find a way to go under, but barring an Allen injury, I think they get 12 wins, no problem here. I thought last year they actually gave 1 or 2 wins away. They could have actually had a little better record. So I like, and they know home field has to go. If they're going to win, they need home field advantage. I think they're going to go for it. It is a highly juiced at like minus 150, minus 160 at 11.5, but I still think that goes over. Next team for you, you're going to get my Bengals. How about that? Last year they were 9-8. The total this year is just 9.5, with a team that, of course, signed both of the receivers, T. Higgins and Jamar Chase, to go along with Burrow the year before. What do you like about the Bengals, over or under?
Well, I mean, I'm going to go with the over just because I want to tell you that they've started the last 2 years, couple years, at 1-9 over the last 5 years. Like, they were really, really bad. At some point, they're going to get better, and they're going to start a little bit faster. And, I'm a little high on the Bengals, but I'm scared to take the Bengals too much to the over. But I do like the over here. Obviously, the total sits around 9.5, 9, or whatever you see. The Bengals, I think, will start the season 2-0. They'll face the Jaguars and Browns. That'll obviously help. And obviously they have their issues on defense, but I don't think their defense can get any worse. I just don't. With so much energy and focus on their defense, I think they will be better on defense, and I don't think they can start any slower. And so I think the Bengals will be better this year. I think they'll sneak over. But you know what's funny? Joe Burrow's 28 too. You got Lamar at 28. You got Joe at 28. You got Josh Allen at 29. You got Patrick Mahomes at 28. A lot of these 28, 29 guys, It's like that batch of 28, 29-year-olds. And but I'm a little high. I don't want to say a little high on the Bengals, but I am, I'm optimistic about the Bengals versus some other teams that are out there. Moving on here to the Cleveland Browns. They are a total of 5.5. This is a team that went 3-14 last year. Interesting. Yeah, I actually think, Shador's TikTok, social media people, obviously, Deion's son, one of his sons handles all the social media. So whenever Dylan Gabriel throws an interception, it is on my TikTok reels. It is on my Facebook reels. It's amazing. Like, they just hammer this guy because they want Shador. But if Shador throws 10,000 interceptions, we never see it. So it's amazing the social media presence that Deion's son, you know what I mean? Like, Dylan Gabriel throws an interception, and we see it on all the social media. But if Shador throws an interception, no one sees anything because he's got this entire crew behind him following. Total's at 5.5. What do you think is going to happen over there?
Well, I don't think it matters because I think Kenny Pickett and Flacco are going to get their opportunities before the rookies, either one. Whoever finishes third in that battle, I don't think it matters. I think Pickett will get the start. Flacco will be the backup, and then who knows after that. But I like the under here. I mean, Kenny Pickett wasn't great when he was with a very good Steelers defense. He did okay last year, but he was playing on the Eagles when he had to fill in. I think anybody could win with that group. I just think this is a team that's like, you know what? Let's bottom out. There's this guy named Manning. I don't know if you've heard of him, that everybody thinks the Browns are in love with and that they would like to get next year. So maybe that's the goal. I just think their defense is going to be better this year. A very, very tough division. They might not win a game in the division, and that's going to make it tough. I think they finish like 3 or 4 wins. So give me the under 5.5. It's got a little juice on it, minus 140, minus 145, depending on where you look at. So make sure you shop that line. Next team we have is Denver Broncos. Big surprise last year. I don't think anybody thought Bo Nix was going to be what he was, or the Broncos were going to be what they were. 10-7 last year. Total is 9.5. Can they do it again this year? I see.
I think they can, dude. And I think they can. I'm going to take the over here. And I'm a huge Sean Payton fan. Okay. Remember when the Dolphins hung up like 70 points on him? And everybody thought that Denver is going to be kicked out of, like, they're going to be relegated to the SEC or something. And then, like, the whole world was falling and bottoming out. And then what did he do? He shaped it up. He turned things around. They were 10-7 last year. I think Payton's done an incredible job, obviously, with Knicks. They lost 2 very close games to the Chiefs last year. That's not going to happen this year. They're going to win one of those games this year. The Chiefs are not as mighty as they used to be, so to speak. So I can see them winning at least one of those games. And I think the Broncos are going to go over this year. Even though I think the Chargers will be a little bit better, I think you have a Broncos team that actually believes in themselves. And I think that's matter. They come in there thinking that they can, kind of shape up against anybody. And that defense is really shaped up for them too. So I'm going to take the over on those Broncos. Moving on here. Let's move on to the Houston Texans here. Total of 9.5 for the Texans. This is a team that went 10-7. And after you say your thoughts, I'm going to tell you what I think about the Texans. But what do you think about the over 9.5 for the C.J. Stroud crew?
Yeah, remember his rookie year, he threw like basically no interceptions. And everybody was, on his jock all year long, how great he was. Then he had a little bit of sophomore slump. Of course, he was never going to be that. No one's going to throw that few interceptions for their career. But Mixon's hurt already. I think that could be big trouble because he was great last year. And he really saved an offense that struggled passing the ball at times. But I just think it's equally played division this year. I think a lot of them are going to be in that 9-10 win range. So you see this total at 9.5. 9.5, right? I just think this is like a 9-win team. I could see them go 8-9, 9-8. And I think 9-8 might win this division, by the way. So it's not like I'm saying they're terrible. I just think it's that evenly balanced that a lot of them are going to beat up on each other. So give me the under, slightly under in this one. And you do get a little juiced up at plus 105. So that's a nice little break if you do like them. What was your take on this before we go to the next team?
I absolutely agree with you. I think CJ Stroud, I think teams have figured out with him. Like, I think teams have figured him out. And I absolutely agree with you. I think that, it's funny because what will happen is teams figure out your tendencies, and he has certain tendencies, and you have to be creative. That's one thing that Andy Reid did really well. Like, if you figured out his tendencies, he just comes up with an entirely new game plan. The guy had this.
Yeah. Like, I don't love their offensive game plan that they did last year, so I don't want to blame him because, it's more than one player out there. But it's like they kind of were like the one-trick pony, kept trying to do what they were trying to do.
Yeah, keep in mind, I'm an Alabama homer. I'm all about D'Amico Ryans. I'm all about Alabama alums, etc. But I think they're going to probably struggle here. So moving on, right?
You got the Colts. You got the Colts at 7.5, 8-9 last year. I like the backup quarterback, Daniel Jones. They got Daniel Jones just in case Richardson struggles. So I think they have options there at least this year when it comes back to the quarterback. What do you like over under there?
Yeah, I think that what they're going to do is they're going to make a mistake by starting Anthony Richardson for a few weeks, and that's going to be tough. And I think Daniel Jones will have a better year, but there's just more to the Colts than that. Plus, that division is you have a Jaguars team that's looking to get better, right? You obviously have other teams in there. Texans are there too. You have other teams, and you have the Titans looking to perk up a little bit. So you have other teams trying to get better too. So it's a division that everyone is trying to get better. And I like the under. Plus, you got to understand, like, they have a brutal schedule to close out the year. I mean, they're playing Kansas City, they're playing Houston, they're playing Seattle, and then they're playing San Francisco. That's hard, and which means all those teams are going to be needing those wins. So you better try to win some games early. And I think this team's going to struggle a little early too because they start off a little slow. So I'm going to take the under there. Now, as it relates to the Jacksonville Jaguars, right, staying in the same division, a total of 7.5. Interesting. They were 4-13 last year. Now they come in with a 7.5 total. What do you think?
Yeah. I mean, you hate to write off a young quarterback like Trevor Lawrence.
Oh, no, don't do it.
Talent is not a problem when it comes to him. I mean, we've seen what he did at Clemson, but he has not put it together really for an entire season yet. They had one good season of his in his career so far. I don't know. I'm not a believer in him yet. They're going to have to beat me. I would take the under. It's not going to be a lot. I think, like I said, I think these teams in this division are going to be 7, 8, 9 win teams. I think he's probably going to get 7 wins. I just think it's a pretty evenly matched division. I think the Titans will be even better than what people think. Let's take the slight under with the Jaguars. Now you have the Kansas City Chiefs, the AFC champs for what seems like forever. And they're deserving. I mean, they continue to find ways to win. Total's 11.5, coming off a 15-2 year. And they did it with defense, I see this time. It's like they continue to find ways to win games. What do you like with the Chiefs this year?
I'm going to take the under. I'm going to take the under because I think there is some Chiefs tiredness to this, right? And I think people are starting to figure them out a little bit. And they really underestimated the value of their offensive line when they let some people walk away, right? And that total sits at 11.5. And, Mahomes is 29. He's had 3 Super Bowls. I think his window is also closing a little bit too. I think there is some Chiefs fatigue as well. Look, people want to see the Buffalo Bills do well. People want to see the Baltimore Ravens do well. They want to see Lamar win a title. They want to see Josh Allen win a title. Denver Broncos are going to win a game this year. You might as well take a money line on the Denver Broncos in one of those 2 games. They're not going to lose them both again this year. I mean, they lost by a field goal last year in a game they really should have won. You remember that brutal game? I think it was like 13-9. And I think the Chiefs just have, I think they have issues in the division. Forget anywhere else, but everybody else will get up to face them too. I'm going to take the under on the Kansas City Chiefs this year. Moving on to the Las Vegas Raiders, total of 7.5. A Pete Carroll sighting, 73-year-old. The 73 is a new 63 or 53. Pete Carroll, since he's been out in the West Coast forever. Interesting, the total He's at 7.5 for a team that's 4-13. And Geno Smith, I see another Geno Smith sighting there too. You can get him at plus 135 on an over 7.5. What do you like?
No way. I think this is Geno. They won this in spite of Geno Smith at times in Seattle the last few years. It was a nice story. I get it that he kind of recreated his career and made them together. It wasn't just him. I mean, it wasn't like he was out there throwing 400, 500 yards a game and it was just because of him. They did it because they ran the ball good. They short passing. They were creative, I just don't think they have the talent that Seattle did. And Pete Carroll, he does give teams bumps. Like everywhere he goes, college or NFL, he gives them a bump. Can he give them a bump this much? I think that's asking a lot. To go from 4 to 8 wins, you got to double it. I think it'd be a great year if they got to 7 wins, to be honest. Even 6, I think you got to say there's some positivity there. Let's take the under with the Raiders. I know it's juiced up at minus 160. If there's a minus, say a 7 out there, or even a 6.5, and you get the better juice, maybe lay that. But I do think that goes under. If you just throw the juice out the window. Don't forget though, before we get to the last few, make sure you get in on our all season pass. The early bird specials up there, $7.49 per handicapper. Go over to Doc Sports. Just go to the favorite capper page and get in on the football passes. That price is good up through until week 1 starts. So make sure of the NFL. So make sure you get in on that. All right, I see. We go to the Chargers, another team in the same division here. Harbaugh did what Harbaugh does. He improves his teams everywhere he goes. 11-6 last year. Total's 9.5. I kind of thought this might be a 10-10.5 type. The number set there. Maybe a little value. What do you think?
Yeah, I like the over. I mean, I get that the the Chargers. The Chiefs are there too. Obviously, in the Broncos, and obviously I think they're gonna win both games against Vegas. But the first week is actually the Chargers hooking up against the Chiefs in Brazil, which will be very interesting as they hook up. And Herbert had his best season as far as the interception rate was concerned. And I think Harbaugh will let him throw a little bit more as he continues to have more and more trust in him. You saw the preseason game. Harbaugh is not all about taking what glitters and glamours and stuff. He looks for certain types of guys, just like Big Ten football, like big boys who know how to move the pile and tries to control the scrimmage. And, he's going to be able to do something that my Lord and Savior, Nick Saban, is not going to be able to do, which is to win a Super Bowl and win a college championship, right? And win a national title. And I think Harbaugh, given his age, is going to be able to pull it off. As it relates to this, I just think that I think Harbaugh, everywhere he goes, it's going to get better. He's just a fantastic coach. And I like the over there just because I think the Chiefs are going to take a hit. I'm on the under on the Chiefs. So if you get taken over on a team, you got to take an under elsewhere else. I love how other handicappers I like the over with this team. I like the over with this team. It's like, dude, do you like any unders? Is everybody going to be 17-0? Like somebody's got to take a hit here, So yeah, don't trust anybody that doesn't give you some unders. You know what I mean? They just look at their roster. I like the over. Everybody likes the over until everybody starts getting beat. Moving on to Miami here, total of 8.5. They were 8-9 last year. If you take the under, everybody loves the under. The under is almost minus 190 now on a total of 8.5. Yeah. What do you like on Miami?
Just was it like 2 years ago? Maybe it was 2.5. They started off hot before the Tua, concussions. I think they were 4-1, 5-1, something like that. And man, you couldn't people were Daniels was the best young coach. Tua might be the next coming, the great receiving corps, all that. And you have a couple bad seasons, some injuries, and now everybody's off, so the market, everybody's on the under. I kind of think they could get 9 wins this year. I think it's after the Bills, I think they're better than the Patriots. I think they're better than the Jets. So if you do those two teams, there's 4 wins right there. So to me, I don't know. Maybe they can beat. They're not winning in Buffalo if it's cold. That's for sure. We've seen that problem. But they definitely could win games at home. Miami's a tough place to play, especially when it's hot and humid. Where the rest of these places in the country are hot. I kind of think, especially with the juice, you got to take the Dolphins over. Now, I don't think they're going to go crazy over. I think it would be just 9 games. But now with that 17th game, I think it's very possible this Dolphins gets over 9, and you get them at plus 160. So that's a pretty good value there. I see. We look at the next team is the New England Patriots. And, of course, you bring back Mike Vrabel and hoped you bring back some of that, what he had when he was there. of course, with Belichick and company. It's a tough ask, I think. And the total, if you go 4-13 last year, and it's 7.5, I thought that was a little high. What do you think?
So I'm going to say this. I have a caveat here. I think that, I think what will happen is they'll go over this year, but then they'll go under next year. I am not a Mike Vrabel fan. I just think at some point he will struggle because I think people figured him out here, right? And is Drake May the guy? I mean, I think there'll be some excitement in New England. I think they'll do well this year. But keep in mind that this team, I thought they closed the year pretty well, and I think they have a good, pretty young receiving core. But I think Mike Vrabel basically is not creative, and I think people figure him out eventually, and I think that's going to be an issue for him. And he's got a tough division. You know what I mean? I mean, yeah, you want to take out the Jets, that's fine, but he's got. I mean, the Bills are in there too, so I just think that eventually people figure out Vrabel. And isn't it funny? Like I grew up watching, obviously the Patriots and stuff. It is weird for me to see the Patriots not good. And
it's 7 wins though. Seems like 7 wins would be from where they were last year, almost double. That's what I'm like.
Here's what I think. I think
it's minus 170 on the over. By the way.
Yeah, I think what happens is I think people still get up to face the Patriots, and I think the Dolphins always get up to face them, always, right? That's like a mini Super Bowl on its own. The Bills get up to face them too, and the Jets. I think in the Jets you don't have to win any games, but if you beat the Patriots, nobody cares. You know what I mean? It's kind of like that thing. So, for now, I'll take the over, but I'm going to take the under every year on the Patriots going forward. Moving on here. Speaking of the Jets, the total sits at 5.5. I thought that was really low, man. But I mean, I guess if you look at their roster, but the public agrees with me. They're all taking the over. That's at minus 150. They were 5-12 last year. Did they get worse?
Aaron Rodgers was terrible last year. I mean, let's just be honest. Like I hate to do that to a guy that's a Hall of Famer, multiple MVPs, a Super Bowl winner. But a spade's a spade. He cost them more wins than
you and I are going to die, and Aaron Rodgers is still going to be a starting quarterback.
Yeah.
He's never going to have to retire.
I don't get it. I was surprised anybody wanted him after last year. I guess the only saving grace you could say was a year after an Achilles. He just wasn't there. Okay, if you say that, okay, I will maybe give him a pass. But I don't know. I'm still taking the under here. I think this is a 5-win team. I just like they were last year. I like their defense. I like their running game. I like, Justin Fields. Did you see him with Pittsburgh last year? I mean, they were 4-1 and changed quarterbacks because he couldn't move the ball consistently with them. And talent, yes. Athleticism, yes. He's not an accurate quarterback. With the way he plays, he might not even make it through the season with injury. So give me the Jets under in this one. I do believe you get some juice on this one at plus 130. So that's a nice little bonus. How about the over the Steelers? Or they've been 500 or over every year that Tomlin's been there. 10-7 last year after a really hot start, kind of tailed off at the end of the year. Total is 8.5 this year with that aging Aaron Rodgers now at the quarterback. What do you like?
I'm going to take the over. I'm going to take the over. And what I will tell you this is that I think this might be, I think Tomlin has been sort of having a crush on Aaron Rodgers for a long time. For a long time, he's flirted with this idea of having Aaron Rodgers. And this might be the best quarterback he's had in a long, long time too, right? They do
probably. I don't know. Ben Roethlisberger is a Hall of Fame quarterback, so.
And then after Ben left, Tomlin has done wonders with nobody. And people always call him for Tomlin, said he hasn't had a quarterback in forever, and he's always had him competitive. It's remarkable. And I think he finally has a quarterback where he doesn't have to teach anything. What's he going to teach Aaron Rodgers that Aaron Rodgers doesn't already know? So I think as long as Aaron Rodgers stays healthy, and I think both these guys are on their last legs, it's kind of. You know what I mean? So I think Aaron Rodgers knows his last hurrah. He finally has a fantastic defense that he doesn't have to worry about the defense, right? And I think, we'll see what DK Metcalf can do as well. They have a little bit of a hard schedule too. By the way, this is their fifth, different quarterback in as many years. Yep. He'll give them some stability. So I'm going to take the over there just because I think sometimes when you try things so many different ways, eventually you just figure it out just because of pure attrition. I think that's what Tomlin is, and that's what Aaron Rodgers is in this situation. So moving on here, we will go to, the Tennessee Titans?
Last one, yeah.
Yeah, Tennessee Titans here. 5.5. And from the way you sound like it, you like them this year. They were 3-14 last year. They do have a pretty good coach. On a total of 5.5. What do you like on the Titans?
I mean, this team has to double its win total to get this. I think they're going to be a ton better. Yes, you're going to be a ton better in NFL, and you improve 2 games. 2-game improvement in the NFL is ridiculous.
That's such
and so it's like, are they going to jump? I just think this is a 5-win team, and I love Cam Ward. I think he could put up Daniels type numbers because he can do it all. He can run, he can pass. He's pretty accurate. I thought he was proved that he was very accurate last year. So I kind of think that they're going to get 5 wins. I just can't see him doubling in the NFL, especially that's
how we were talking about character. I think he has that Lamar Jackson type character.
I mean, I think he's more like Jaden Daniels, to be very honest, like we saw last year. What did he do in Washington? It's just he gives everybody hope because he can keep plays alive.
Have you read
the guy breaks down? Oh,
he shows up at like 5 a.m., 4:30.
Yeah.
I mean,
the guy that can, like your offensive line is not great. Someone misses a block and all of a sudden dead to rights. Joe Burrow, that's a sack. Not with Daniels, not with Lamar, and not with Cam here. I think Cam Ward's going to have a very, very good year. It's going to give them a lot more opportunities to win games. I just think it's that 1 year off. Like they're going to need some more talent around him. Then I don't think he has as much as Washington did as talent around him. And I thought Washington had a pretty easy schedule this year. I don't think Tennessee's quite as easy. I think they get 5 wins, but I would take the under in this one. And I think you get a little juice if I'm not. Yeah, plus 105. So that's a nice little that means a lot of people are taking the Titans on the over. And usually you want to play against the public, FYI. All right, so there you have it. Those are all your teams in the AFC. Don't forget, we'll be back in the NFC later this week. It'll probably be in the next week. We'll put that up. And don't forget, we're going to be going on all the football games. We do a baseball where we cover every day or every game 1 day a week. So make sure you follow the page. And then, of course, go in and get on our best stuff over at DocSports.com. Get on that early bird pass, $7.49. $7.49 gets you all football, not just college, not just NFL, all the way through the Super Bowl. So make sure.
And we'll talk to our powers of be of trying to get a discount for Craig and I combined, right? Yeah. Just a Craig and Arun football package combined, because we're going to be doing every game. So if you want to be watching our stuff, we'll work on that. And you can check our NFC where we go through every single game. Look for that code at the NFC video. And we'll try to have something between Craig and I. It could be the rest of the baseball season code. It could be the rest of the NBA early bird package, a code. And I know a lot of you are Craig and Arun fans, right? Yep. And we're still looking for a name for the show. We call it, what do we call it now?
We called it Salt and Pepper, but people didn't like that at all.
Yeah, I don't think people like it. We're going to have
like it.
Craig and I will send you a box of steaks if you can come up with a nice title for us. If we both check the comments, so maybe you'll come across something that we really like. But a box of steaks, right? I mean, I don't think it's very Hindu. I don't think it's very Hindu of me. But we'll send you a.
Put it in the comments. Put it in the comments.
Yeah, I mean, my favorite show is The Chosen, so I'm very open about religion. I love Christianity. I love Hinduism. I love Buddhism. Whatever. But yeah. Join us for our football season. Craig and I are literally doing every single college football game, every single NFL game. We're going to be piped in to this season. I think we're going to have a real season. So join us for the football season.
All right, guys, have a good one. Hope all your bets are winning ones. And we'll make sure you stay tuned for the NFC coming up here in the next week.